Ulemi kolegë deputet. Mbyllni që këto dyert. Nderuar deputete dhe deputet, sot në kuvend kemi një personalitet të lartë e nderuar, një mik të Shqipërisë, zotin Olivér Várhelyi, Komisioneri i Bashkimit Evropian për Fqinjësinë dhe Zgjerimin. Lejoni që në emër ju, të gjithë ju deputetëve, t'ju uroj mirëseardhjen në kuvendin e Shqipërisë. Nderuar shkëlqyesi ambasador dhe përfaqësues të trupit diplomatik që për shkak të rrethanave të pandemisë po e ndiqni këtë seancë në mënyrë virtuale. Zoti Olivér është një politikan dhe një diplomat i shquar. Ai ka dhënë një kontribut të çmuar në bashkëpunimin e vendit të tij të origjinës Hungarisë me Bashkimin Evropian. Zoti Várhelyi, ju shpreh mirënjohjen e kuvendit Shqipërisë për mbështetjen që vendi juaj i origjinës, po jo vetëm, edhe ato të Vishegradit, që i kanë dhënë procesit të integrimit evropian në përgjithësi Ballkanit Perëndimor dhe veçanërisht Shqipërisë. Si Komisioneri i Fqinjësisë dhe i Zgjerimit të Bashkimit Evropian, u shpreh mirënjohjen që vendimi i Këshillit Evropian për çeljen e negociatave me Shqipërinë u muar gjatë mandatit tuaj. Ju vini në kuvendin e Shqipërisë vetëm një ditë pasi prezantuat paketën e zgjerimit të Bashkimit Evropian 2020, si dhe planin e investimeve ekonomike për Ballkanin Perëndimor, ku vlerësuat reformat e Shqipërisë dhe bët thirrje për vazhdimin e tyre. Ju vini në kuvend të Shqipërisë vetëm 2 ditë pasi ne kemi bërë ndryshimet e kodit zgjedhor, të cilat ju afruan maksimalisht, aq sa ishte mundur, projekteve të opozitës parlamentare dhe të asaj jashtë parlamentare, por çka është më kryesorja, realizimi të pritshmërive të qytetarëve shqiptar për më shumë vendimarrje në votimin e përfaqësuesve në degën legjislative. Ne jemi tërësisht angazhuar për këtë proces, duke plotësuar kështu hap pas hapi të gjitha rekomandimet e Këshillit Evropian. Kuvendi i Shqipërisë ka caktuar si objektiv bërjen funksionale të gjykatës kushtetuese brenda këtij viti. Dëshiroj të siguroj se edhe për rekomandimet dhe për parësitë e tjera që na ka caktuar Këshilli Evropian dhe të cilat ju i nënvizuat në prezantimin e datës 6 tetor, ne po punojmë me të njëjtin ritëm e me të njëjtin përgjegjësi. Para pak ditësh u kam nisur të gjithë kryetarëve të parlamenteve të vendeve anëtare një letër në të cilën i informoja mbi hapat e deritanishme, si dhe u bëra të njohur rezolutën e kuvendit dhe planin e masave për përmbushjen e përparësive të përcaktuara nga Këshilli i Bashkimit Evropian, miratuar së fundmi nga kuvendi i Shqipërisë. Shqiptarët dhe popujt e Ballkanit Perëndimor ju janë mirënjohës për vlerësimi që u bëni si bashkëmbartës të vlerave europiane dhe atyre perëndimore. Këto vite do të shënohen në kujtesën europiane si vite ku popujt e Ballkanit Perëndimor, të përjashtuar me forcë nga harta e politikës europiane, por i kthehen në të me shumë dëshirë dhe me shumë entuziazëm në familjen e tyre. Të gjithë duhet ndihemi krenar që po kontribuojmë për kufijtë politikë të Evropës, ta afrohen ato me kufit kulturor dhe qytetërus të tyre. Ftoj zotin Olivér Várhelyi për të përshëndetur Kuvendin e Shqipërisë.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for these very kind words. You put me in a very difficult position. First, by providing me a seat that is due for kings only, which I'm not. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. It is always an honor to address a parliament of the representatives of the people of a country, and it is through you that I would like to emit the clear message that we are bringing these days to the Western Balkans, that we are with you, we are working for you, and we're working for you to become EU member states and fully integrated into our life. Now, honorable members, the Western Balkans has been a priority for this Commission. You may have seen that from the first day in our office, we have been committed to deliver for the Western Balkans and to reinforce our commitment towards the region. We are convinced that the future of the whole region lies in the European Union, and it is in our strategic interest to bring you closer to the EU. Work has been going on three main tracks: to reinforce the enlargement process, to open accession negotiations with Albania and North Macedonia, and to speed up the economic convergence of the region with the EU. On the first two objectives, we have already taken a number of significant steps this year. We have overcome the deadlock in Council on opening accession negotiations with your country and North Macedonia, thanks to the revised methodology. The Commission has already proposed negotiating frameworks for both countries, and discussions are ongoing in the Council, and we do hope that during this presidency we will have agreement by the Member States on both of you to open the first intergovernmental conferences and to take the first step in the formal negotiations. As regards the economic convergence, the pandemic makes it even more challenging. We have put our efforts first into providing significant emergency assistance to the region, and second, to help the economy to recover. Going forward, our focus is on supporting the longer-term socio-economic recovery of the region and its economic convergence with the EU. We need to close the gap in terms of economic development between your region and the EU. The faster we close that gap, the faster we start creating resilient, strong, and sustainable market economies, the faster you will be able to join us. This is why we have prepared the Economic and Investment Plan, which was just adopted yesterday by the College. This Economic and Investment Plan serves to spur the long-term recovery through a substantial investment package leading to sustained economic growth. It will also support the implementation of reforms required to move forward on the EU path, thus bringing the Western Balkans closer to the EU single market. The investment package is structured around the key areas of crucial importance, areas that we have pinpointed in cooperation with you. We are not here to tell you what your priorities should be, but we are here to cooperate with you to find the right priorities where we can create growth and jobs immediately and on a sustainable basis for your countries. We have reached out to each and every single country of the Western Balkans, and we have found that the biggest challenges are related to transport, energy, environment, digital, and the private sector and youth. This is what we see as having huge potential to contribute immediate growth and jobs for this region. The Economic and Investment Plan sets out a substantial investment package for the region. We aim to mobilize 9 billion euros of grant funding under the future instrument of pre-accession assistance to support the economic convergence of the region with the EU. In addition, the investment capacity of the region should be boosted by the mobilization of a new Western Balkans Guarantee Facility, with the ambition to potentially raise investments of up to an additional 20 billion euros. This will bring strong benefits for the region, for the people, businesses, and the economies, including, of course, for Albania. When it comes to investments, the plan envisages supporting, just to name a few which are relevant for Albania. In transport, the Blue Highway along the Adriatic coast, the Mediterranean rail corridor. On energy, the rehabilitation of the Fjala hydropower plant, the advancement of the construction of the Skavica hydropower plant, and as of part of the Trans-Adriatic pipeline, the construction of the Flora gas pipeline and the Ionian Adriatic pipeline along the coast. The establishment of integrated regional waste management systems, going hand in hand with the closure of non-compliant landfills. In digital, a broadband infrastructure development scheme. The package will lay the foundations for developing connected, competitive, knowledge-based, sustainable, innovation-oriented and thriving economies in the Western Balkans with increasingly dynamic private sectors. We see this region to be of a potential of becoming an investment hub, maybe the most attractive one in the world. The Western Balkan has the potential of attracting investments from our companies who are now looking at cutting their value chains shorter. It is our common task to create the right investment climates, and the investment climates are based on infrastructure, human capital, and of course, being a future-proof economy, digital and green. With the Economic Investment Plan, we aim to bring the region closer to the EU and foster regional cooperation. If you look at our plans, what you will see is a chain of projects that are of regional impact, regional participation. During the COVID-19 crisis, the region showed it can work together, and this success should inspire the future regional economic integration. For the past 6 months, Western Balkan governments have been engaged in developing a new vision for the regional economic area. I look forward to the leaders of the Western Balkans agreeing an ambitious action plan to develop a common regional market at the Sofia summit on the 10th of November. This is critical to increase the attractiveness and competitiveness of this region. I would like to see the Western Balkans become a proper investment hub, attractive also for global investors who seek to reduce the value chains and their distances to EU markets and diversify supply. However, boosting investment and economic growth in the Western Balkans will only be possible if governments firmly commit to and implement fundamental reforms on European values. Whether structural economic reforms, strengthening the rule of law, or improving public administration, these reforms are essential for an environment favorable to entrepreneurship, job creation, and sustainable investment. In this regard, the 2020 enlargement package, which we also adopted yesterday, together with the Economic and Investment Plan, provides a detailed overview of the state of play of fundamental reforms and guidance on these reform priorities, which remain at the heart of the EU accession process. These fundamentals remain the essential conditions that need to be met, not only to make a success of the Economic and Investment Plan, but also to move forward on the EU path. Reporting in this year's enlargement package already reflects the proposals of the enhanced approach to the accession process. The assessments and recommendations are even clearer and more precise. Member States have been more closely consulted during the process and provided input and expertise. Mr. Speaker, honourable members, let me tell you a few words on the Commission's report on Albania, which we have just published. We have assessed that Albania has pursued its reform efforts with determination, and the authorities continue to demonstrate their commitment to advance on the EU path. Your country has made decisive progress and is close to meeting all the conditions to be fulfilled prior to the first intergovernmental conference. Implementation of the justice reform has continued. Vetting of judges and prosecutors is proceeding steadily. Let me commend the hard, thorough work of the vetting institutions and our international monitoring operation. They are providing an outstanding contribution for a better future of the Albanian citizens. The application procedures for 2 vacancies of the Constitutional Court have been opened. The High Court regained its quorum and is functional. On anti-corruption and organized crime, the establishment of new specialized bodies in the area was finalized. Good progress was made in law enforcement, where we have witnessed a number of successful, large-scale international operations. I welcome the positive outcome of the 5th of June agreement on electoral reform, which implements the OSCE ODIHR recommendations. I encourage all stakeholders to maintain the focus on the necessary reforms, including especially the reforms foreseen in the 5th of June agreement. Let me be clear. Electoral reform is a condition for the first intergovernmental conference. Albania must maintain momentum and continue its reforms in the area indicated in the March Council conclusions. Honourable members, Albania's continued progress will be key for the outcome of the discussions in the Council related to the negotiating frameworks, and the first intergovernmental conference as well. So all institutions must work together to ensure that Albania can move forward in its European path for the benefit of its citizens. Albania has experienced a difficult period. First, a devastating earthquake, and now the COVID crisis. We stood by you with unprecedented levels of assistance, and we continue to stand by you. In the midst of these external challenges, Albania provided support to the EU in the heights of the crisis, which included the deployment of medical staff to EU countries. Let me express our gratitude for this, and also our trust and encouragement to continue to focus on the reform path in the coming period. Honourable members, Mr. Speaker, we are at a crucial moment where Albania is closer than ever to starting accession negotiations. Your contribution, the contribution of all forces in this politics of society, is decisive to move over to the next step. Let us take that next step. Thank you very much for your attention.
Nderuar Komisioner Várhelyi, ju falemnderit për fjalët dhe për mesazhet drejtuar kuvendit dhe qytetarëve të Republikës Shqipërisë. Në emër të këtij kuvendi dhe në emrin tim personal, ju garantoj se Shqipëria do të ecë vendosur drejt destinacionit të saj europian, duke merituar mbështetjen e Bashkimit Evropian, të vendeve anëtare, si dhe tuajin, me arritjet dhe me standardet e matshme dhe të dukshme. Zotëri deputet, më lejoni të shoqëroj komisionerin Várhelyi për të lënë sallën e parlamentit dhe mandej vazhdojmë seancën.